Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the Hobby Musician. Now, you're joining us in a mini-series where we are going through and building a guitar from a kit. Now, I've got to say, you're joining us on the most exciting episode. In this episode, it is the last edition in this whole project. We are going to do the final assembly and the setup and the testing of this guitar. Now, if you want to get caught up on all the previous episodes, go ahead and click the link at the top, and that'll take you to a playlist where you can catch up on everything we've done. And if this is your kind of thing, don't forget to click subscribe and click that bell so you get notified when we put up new episodes. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to do the final assembly, and I've got things kind of spread out here so I can go through what we're going to do. And then afterwards, I really view this as a kind of a two-part episode. There is the assembly of the guitar, but then there truly is the setup of the guitar. You know, the first time you get a new neck onto a body, the first time that you put a bridge on, there does have to be a lot of testing and adjusting to get everything set up just right. Now, in terms of assembly, you'll notice that it looks like, well, maybe there's a lot of stuff already assembled, but you got to remember in previous episodes, when we went through and did the wiring of the guitar, everything you see on the front of the body went on as a part of that. So some assembly has been going on as we've gone through this series, but the last pieces of everything that we're going to do today are laid out for me. The neck is going to go on to the body with our mounting screws, and it's got that back plate for that. We have to put on the buttons for holding our strap. When we get up on stage and we're going to perform with this, there's a button that goes on the bottom of the guitar and one up here at the top, so those are our strap buttons. Also, when it comes to the neck itself, we've got string tees or string trees that are going to go on the headstock here that help angle the strings down. After the strings come through this nut and they go to their tuning pegs, we need to get them angled down, and then that brings us to the tuning pegs themselves. But other than that, that's really the assembly that we're going to do. And I've got my various tools kind of set up here. Need a few versions of screwdrivers and pliers and different things like that. After the guitar then is assembled, I'm going to string it up with new strings, and then I am going to go through the process of setting the intonation, setting the string height, setting the amount of curvature through the truss rod. So that's the second part. After everything's together, it takes a little bit of time to get it ready to play. So we're going to do all that. I'm going to set up a time lapse here so you're going to see the assembly process and that setup process, the intonation, the string height, all those kind of things. And then we'll come back when it's all done, and we're going to get this thing plugged in and run it through its paces to see how we've done with this project. All right, that's enough talking. It's time to get to work. All right, well, we are here, and as you just saw, it is a few days after that little time lapse that you saw, and the reason for that is just that we said earlier in the video, anytime that you do an assembly like this, the first time you put a guitar neck onto a guitar body, it's gonna take some time to set in. And you saw in that video that all the adjustments, after I put the strings on, I was adjusting the action of the string, you know, how high they were. I was adjusting all the saddles down here in the bridge. I was adjusting the relief in the neck. And because it was the first time any of that had been set, I was making drastic changes. And honestly, I would make a lot of changes, and I just had to let the thing set like overnight and come back to it the next day to let the tension have a chance to kind of work itself out And then I would play it and discover I wanted to make some more adjustments and kind of work on it, then let it set another day. So that's why it's taken us a few days to get to this point. But we are here and we are at the final inspection of this guitar. And I'll put some close-up pictures and stuff over this. But honestly, when I take a look at this just as an overall project, I just am been so happy and so pleased at how everything came out. The overall color that we ended up going with, I just love how this is looking on this body. All of the electronics went in really well. Really easy to kind of set up. The neck feels great when we were finishing and using that true oil. It just turned out to be a great feeling neck. And honestly, the custom work we did on the body to make this little belly cut for comfort here on the back of the body, as well as our decal work, putting our logo on the back, as well as a logo right there up on the headstock. It just has come out as a really, really fun and fulfilling project to build this guitar from a kit. So hey, if you guys have ideas or suggestions of another guitar or bass that you'd like to see us build here on the channel, head down in the comments and let us know. And if you're working on your own projects, or if you have questions about guitars or kits you're trying to build, let us know that too. And we'd love to kind of help spread the joy of building guitars throughout the Hobby Nation. All right, well, it's time for some sound samples. And just so you know how I'm going to set this up, I just want to be able to kind of highlight what this guitar sounds like. So I'm really only going to dial up a pretty clean, transparent amp because truth be told, if you line up a whole bunch of effect pedals, it doesn't matter what guitar you're playing, they're all going to start to sound the same. So I just want to run through the different pickup combinations so you can kind of see how this guitar turned out. And after that, we'll come on back and we'll finish out this video. Well, there you have it. We really have a lot of options when it comes to tones and sounds that we can get out of this guitar. So really, really definitely worth it to go through this journey and turn out with a product like this. So hey, thank you for going with us. And as always, until next time, play on, my friends. Play on.